This is GT Time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bosman, and joining us, as always, is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including sitting in for Brandon Jones, Matt Blair.
Hello again.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hi.
Are in a super seat this week, Davis.
Hello.
And making this all happen in the booth with the knobs, Ian Hink.
Hi.
Do you have many knobs in there?
Yeah,
It
there
looks
are
like a
a
lot
few
of wood.
knobs. I see 6 knobs. One's kind of like a combo of 3 knobs. Oh, and then there are 9 knobs over here. Yeah, there's some knobs.
He's got knobs.
Okay.
He's got knobs.
More buttons than knobs, but
What do you call the things where, like, there's a music producer and
Sliders?
he's like
faders.
Those are
Or
faders.
sliders, yeah. I've got 9 of those.
I always. That's like a good part of any movie where the music
Yeah.
producer is turning up the sliders.
Yeah.
Just okay. I'm liking.
I like
this.
how it always goes from 0 to 60. It's not actually 60 on the numbers, but yeah.
And I've got what I would describe as a I guess a transition switch. It's like a toggle, but I can do cool stuff like this. Oh, Halloween ghost faces.
For listeners, Ian is putting on an incredible visual effect.
The likes of which you can't even describe it, honestly.
So we should move on. Let's do the super seat question, Davis. And actually, Matt Blair, I'm going to make you answer this too.
Okay.
Would you rather be a new Power Ranger or a new Ninja Turtle?
Who goes first?
I'll make you go first.
This is an easy question.
Okay.
I love both franchises, but easily Power Ranger.
You'd rather be a new Power Ranger.
Yeah. Here's why.
Okay.
I'd be a human still, which is important. I think on a power level, the Power Rangers like vastly outclass the Ninja Turtles. I would get a cool outfit, a cool weapon.
Yeah.
I'd get a Megazord, and I would live in Angel Grove, which is either supposed to be like Orange County or somewhere basically LA.
It's
So I would
California.
be
Yeah.
I would be local. I wouldn't have to move.
Okay.
Whereas a turtle, I'd be a grotesque monster who's cool, but like you don't want to be one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're not as they're like strong, but they're not like super powerful.
We haven't had anybody
And-
talk about power level yet. That's actually
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like this. This is a good answer.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to live in New York.
Very pragmatic.
So
Blair, how are you feeling on this?
I was never a Power Rangers fan, so I'd kind of have to say Ninja Turtles, but at the same time, that's kind of blasphemy.
Well, we'll talk about the Ninja Turtles deal because you do get 1 canister of ooze, and then you can mutate yourself with any animal you could feasibly find.
Well, then you wouldn't be a Ninja Turtle then. You'd be a Ninja Dinosaur.
A new member of the Ninja Turtles pantheon.
new member
of- Yeah,
okay.
team.
I mean, and you could, if you want to, you can.
That would be awesome then.
You can mutate with a turtle if you want to. You might
think
turn
I
out
would.
like Razor, though. There's no saying really what comes out of ooze.
Right. Or Slash. I'd like
Or
to be
Slash. That'd
Slash
be cool.
was awesome.
So
He's a
you want to be?
badass.
So you want to be a Ninja Turtle?
Yeah, but it's just because
But
I'm
then,
a fan.
if you fight Davis, you will lose because
Oh.
his power level is greater than yours.
But we're
Yes.
both heroes,
Insane
so why
power
would I need
level.
to fight him?
It happens.
as the Orange Ranger, I would crush you,
Oh, oranges are.
and I would have
too.
a power sling,
Well,
Power
then you'd,
sling?
You'd be
Yeah.
a bad guy.
What is that?
like the thing that David slew Goliath with.
It's a bad weapon.
No, it's great
Bad one.
because I'd have to find regular rocks to like power it, but it would like in my like mind it would be like the most OP. Like if I actually connected, it would just like one shot.
Okay.
I think to balance
It
the
does
weapon.
one shot. That's true.
Blair, what's your weapon? And who did you mutate with? We didn't answer this.
I don't
So it is
know.
it
I
is a
haven't had
turtle.
time to think about
so you're
this
gonna
at
end
all.
up looking
Some people
like
didn't
Slash.
mutate, though. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. You don't necessarily have to mutate.
Wait a minute. So you just get the ooze and then you get superpowers or
You
something?
could be like a
No, it's
Casey
garbage.
Jones.
No, you could be like a Casey Jones or an April O'Neil. You could be like part of the team, but still human.
Yeah, but they already have one of those. Got to be something original.
Yeah.
Well, Casey's just a dude. He doesn't have like enhanced.
I know, yeah.
Like, if
He
you're gonna-
trained in martial arts.
Casey Jones trained
think he
in
trained
martial
in
arts.
just
No,
like
wait.
street
He was
brawling,
just
right?
good at hockey. That's
Yeah.
all he was.
Yeah, dude. He just got street strong.
But he has
he's
like
badass.
he has like a lot of sports
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
He was a big sports guy in general.
And he's got a real rough attitude.
It's the
Yeah.
attitude.
I guess I would
It's-
just
this-
be Casey Jones, which is kind of lame because he already exists.
Well, you would kick him out. Like Casey Jones still
Oh.
exists.
So I'm
you
his
can't-
rival then.
Yeah, you could become the new Casey Jones, but you would have to kick out the old Casey
What
Jones.
if Casey Jones died and Blair
Took up the mantle.
Like
Took-
Captain
Oh,
America.
that's- so cool,
like
yeah.
found the hockey stick covered in ooze
Yeah.
and was like, I am Casey Jones now.
So I mutated with Casey Jones, and now I'm the new Casey Jones.
Whoa.
Who's
Yeah, you got
exactly the same
some of his
in
DNA
every
into it,
way,
yeah.
except I'm slightly better at hockey than
But you
are
have like
because of the ooze.
one of the new hockey masks that actually protects your face.
That's true.
You would
Actually,
look
yeah.
look less cool, but it would be far
One of the new
safer.
like I get
Yeah.
way less concussions than Casey Jones. Yeah.
That's why he died,
Yeah, there you go.
as they reveal.
I wonder if they ever did any like non-human mutations in the comics or anything.
They did in the movies Super Shredder for a hot second.
Sure.
In the second one.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
just... So you would just become like a roided out version of you.
Yeah.
Which can be kind of
But
cool.
no, I'm
The
saying
beard-
like no humans
Yeah.
involved,
Beard
like
looks
two
so
animals.
cool.
Epic beard.
What do you mean, 2 animals?
Yeah. Like if you put an elephant and a rhino together.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if the ooze works like that.
Elefino.
Right.
Those
Elephant?
animals are fairly
Damn
similar.
it, that was
as
way
it is.
better.
Do you know what's really funny is there was a YouTube comment that said, like, F this show 3 minutes in and I'm out. I think that this part of the show does a really good job of, like, allowing those people to leave.
The door is like held open for
Yeah,
you
yeah.
for a while.
Like, you're not, if you don't like this part, you're not going to like the show. It's best you just
'Cause-
head out now.
Because frankly, this is usually the most interesting part.
This is so fun. All right,
Also, wait.
what?
I thought of one. I
What?
never get to do these.
Right, because you're here every episode.
Well, right. But an eagle would be a cool mutation. That's not what I would do. But
It would
it'd
be cool, though. I'm
It'd be
sorry,
cool.
Ian, what would you do?
Huh?
What would you do?
I'd be just like some hot chick Power Ranger. Pink's already taken, so I'd
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah, Kimberly.
yeah, I'd be like, I don't know, purple or something.
I don't like that you picked a traditional girl color for
Purple's
it.
not
First of all,
a girl
purple
color.
is a color of royalty.
Sure.
Midnight.
It is a very
It's the-
proud,
Yeah.
regal color.
It's a pride color too.
Birthstone for
All right.
Mace
February.
Windu's lightsaber.
Okay.
It's actually more of like a queer color than a female or male color.
All right. What's your weapon, though? Donatello's purple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm a
purple's cool.
Power Ranger.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
fine.
Okay.
What? Don't the Power Rangers usually just have like swords, daggers, or guns?
Well, their power.
Sometimes
They're
they
all
have an
like a
axe.
power
You know, they
blaster.
get cool stuff. They get really futuristic weapons, which makes the sling so funny.
I'd have like
I-
I'd have like an energy bow and arrow.
Okay.
Well, like,
like
it has a bow, but the
They already have that.
they do.
Yeah, I think so.
Davis.
Kimberly had that.
Kimberly had
that?
You're like kind of her color and kind of her weapon.
You're just
Yeah.
taking Kimberly's
I'm just
spot.
Kimberly.
She died, and you're
Yeah.
taking her
And
spot.
We've
And I-
established that that's
I
perfectly
mutated
fine.
with Kimberly.
Use the ooze.
Yeah.
Davis, we should properly introduce you.
Yeah.
You may be unfamiliar to our usual audience.
Could be.
Who are you, and what do you do?
Damus.
That's not your name.
Davis.
No, that's not it.
Sam Damus.
Off to a good start.
Davis from the Warp Zone. It's a channel we do nerdy gaming, sketch comedy, music videos. Me and a couple of my friends.
And
We
you
have a
were
good time.
you were wildly popular.
We do pretty well.
Yeah.
More
Certain-
popular than
certain
everyone
parts of
else in
the-
this room.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
How did you guys get your start?
As a group, or like just in college, we at Santa Clara, we all were part of the same like film group, and then it was a much bigger group. But like when we all graduated, we like the 4 of us or 5 of us. Wow, I'm just like
No,
flubbing
who is
it.
that fit? Who'd you know? Who was that? Who'd
No,
you forget?
there was actually fun fact. There was almost a 6th. There was supposed to be another guy that came down with us, but he didn't.
Oh,
So this
man.
like alternate universe, whole different story.
Can we talk about what that
spitting in
guy
his
is
grave?
doing?
A receptionist at like a medical facility or something. I don't
man.
remember. We had a falling out with him too later, so it's like kind of.
Whoa.
He tried to make moves on everybody's girlfriend. He was
Oh,
like
okay.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
gotta
that
go.
guy.
unsavory.
Yeah,
sort.
yeah, yeah. He does
He's
not
the
belong in
Matt
the warp zone.
Blair of Warp Zone.
Oh!
Have I made any
Where
moves
did
on
that
you?
come
Moves
from?
on the girlfriends.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
We should
Wait a minute.
start this show. No, we're moving.
Do I
to-
have a career that I don't know about?
No,
Okay.
just because you always play as Kirk in like, Mass Effect, you'd go for all the ladies.
Oh yeah, no, I do it in
Yeah.
the games
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't have a chance.
That's
to do
all
it
I'm
in real life.
referencing.
I feel that.
You're very faithful to.
I don't have
your
that as a
girlfriend.
good way to answer that.
We should immediately begin corrections music. Patch Adams' wife wasn't murdered, but his male best friend was. So we can feel bad.
IRL?
Yeah, IRL.
Man.
Yeah. Isn't so? Can you imagine being Patch Adams watching this movie and they like kill your wife in it, and it's like, hold on, my wife is alive. Why did you do this?
Is Patch Adams still alive? The
He's
real
still
Patch
alive.
Adams?
Yeah. He hates that movie.
Does he?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
actually?
sure.
You
He
read
actually
that?
hates
I'm
it.
sure
yeah.
most people
wow.
would hate movies about themselves.
Especially if they just like kill your wife and not your best friend.
But you got Ron Williams to play you. Like nobody gets that.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Ian made the movie about me, I'd probably not like it very much.
Especially after we just
Yeah,
heard.
probably
No,
not.
that's my point.
You take a lot of liberties that.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. To be fair, it'd be a lot more interesting.
It'd be some guy who just hits on everyone's group. Modern
Does
Warfare,
not
that's
have
the
all the
whole
powers
story.
of Casey Jones.
Modern Warfare 2 has the no Russian mission. There is no such thing as Advanced Warfare 2. Rochambeau is indeed rock, paper, scissors. You can buy VR headsets at Best Buy in the form of the Samsung Gear VR. Those are the ones you just slot your cell phone into.
Yep.
Which is
Counts.
now like owned or a subsidiary of Oculus somehow. They're like
Yeah.
working together. It got
Yeah.
real weird.
It makes no sense. There's a mutant bear named Panda Khan who was sometimes an ally of the Ninja Turtles.
Wait, but it's a
Whoa.
panda, not a bear.
Pandas are bears?
Yeah.
Pandas are related to bears. They're not exactly
Yeah, I
bears.
don't-
They're called
They're
panda,
called panda
bears.
bears.
Right, but they're not bears.
They're absolutely bears.
Should I Google this or should we wait
I'm excited for next
It's
episode's
actually-
correction.
it's actually-
Get the
It's
answer.
actually, yeah, it's a big thing in the biological community. So anyways,
We asked
I
last
don't
week.
know if you're being serious or not.
I believe it. So this is a big
Joking.
issue, really, like
believe
whether
it.
panda's a bear or not.
yeah,
He's-
like when
he's
we were
always serious.
kids, they were like we were specifically taught that they were not bears. They're more related to raccoons or whatever. And then they got into like the DNA.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, actually, they are more closely related to bears.
I'm imagining like raccoons getting into trash, but they're like getting into DNA. They're like, oh, they're just scavenging
I have
bear
friends
DNA.
that call raccoons trash pandas as well. So
I've seen a kind of like, I think the red panda looks just like a raccoon.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a strong connection.
Well, like killer whales aren't really whales.
but that's because
Well,
panda
a lot of stuff
again
lied
is
to.
it's not like a classification type of a name. It's more of like a traditional type of thing.
Pandas look like bears. I'm gonna call it a bear. You can't stop me. Rise of Incarnates is Gundam Versus. Basically, what happened was they did like market research and they were open about this. They said, "Oh, we don't think a Gundam fighting game could really work in the U.S., so we made this ugly game instead because we thought this would appeal more to Western audiences." And they were just said that. Oh, I mean, obviously, I didn't say ugly, but that's what that was.
Fire your market people.
Yeah,
They don't make good
they
decisions.
spent years on this marketing, like research. It bums me out so much. Just give us the Gundam game. Okay, end correction music. I got editorial there at the end. We do have a really interesting thing though. Is last week we begged for any Rise of Incarnates fans to come forward.
Oh, yeah.
This was our biggest fan. This is Elton Collin. I'm a fan of Rise of Incarnates because to me, it's just like a MOBA. You got stylish action and a variety of characters and abilities and powers, but I think it's not complete because the game misses the single player for each character, and that lack of history makes a poor game. That's the biggest the biggest fan we found of Rise of Incarnates called it a poor game. There's not a lot of fans of Rise of Incarnates out there.
Yeah.
Even those who
I
play
saw
it.
some other defenders, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people who are like, I played it, but it is what it is. It's that game that got canceled. I want to do a clarification on our Destiny talk as well. A lot of people are like, hey, all that stuff that was data mined isn't in the game. Okay, we're adding in the music again?
Because you said the word clarification.
Okay, all right, bring it in. Okay, bring it in.
What is the word?
Thanks for a poor history.
Clarification. Clarification is right. Okay, so here's the thing: is we got a lot of people saying, "Hey, that's the data mine stuff isn't in the game. Why are you complaining about stuff that's obviously not in the game?" Here's why we're complaining about it. We talked about this, but let me reiterate. The Eververse store, the one where you spend real money on silver, you can return items in this store. After a certain amount of time, you can return items. In the language, there is text that says consumable items are non-returnable. Emotes are not consumable. There are consumable items coming to the store. Prepare for that.
This is stupid.
It's
this
in-
is
yeah.
stupid. This
Yeah.
is the stupidest thing of all time. We're complaining about something that you don't have to buy, and if you don't buy it, then they don't sell it to you anymore. So don't fucking buy it.
End correction music.
Yeah, the
Well,
problem
or-
though is that people will buy it.
I know.
Yeah,
The problem is
people
that this
will
is
buy
a
it.
thing that still does not actually exist.
Also, yes, like this
We're
isn't even
wasting our
in the
breath
game
in a
right
way.
now. First of all, and second of all,
But
just
it,
don't.
but it like,
It's coming.
but it will be.
It's
in the
coming.
Game.
Yeah, it's
Like, I get it if you get mad if this evolves into something like, oh, well, you have to pay to get this item and there's no other way to. I get that. That makes sense. If it evolves into that, then screw that game entirely. But that's not what this is, and this is not even in the game right now.
The
So it's
negativity
just-
comes, Blair, from the way this is sneakily introduced piece by piece.
The funny thing is that so many other games are doing this so blatantly, and they
I think
get
that's better.
zero attention.
I think it's better to do blatant
Do it.
than to be like little sneaky.
Here's the thing:
sneak
they
kids.
didn't tell us about it yet because it's not in the game. Somebody data mined it and it's leftover code, so they said.
But
they actually did come out and say
consumables
this.
are coming. You can, in the future, you will be able to spend money on consumables.
And we'll see how they announce it to us when they decide to actually put it in the game. But it's not in the game.
But it's
They don't
but
need
it's
to tell us
going to
about
be
it.
in the game. That's like being like you read an email that says like this guy's gonna murder somebody. Like, well, he hasn't murdered him yet. So like you're telling us to wait till somebody gets murdered before we get angry when we see that a murder is coming.
Are you talking about like Minority Report?
Yeah, then you have to look at the Minority Report.
We gotta,
But how do we know that they were actually going to do it?
because they say
somebody
consumables
found
are
out?
non-returnable. That's
It
why.
says it in the
It
thing.
says
But I mean, it's
I was
almost
talking about
like
the murder.
Oh, okay.
And second of all, murder is something that you can't
Pre-crime
avoid.
is a lot like data mining. They have a record of it being
Right.
effective, especially recently. Data miners are like on their game now.
Yeah, you may not have much control over somebody stabbing you in the back of the head when you're not looking. Okay, that's kind of different than like opening your wallet and then saying, "Yes, please charge me for this thing that I want from you." Just don't buy it. If they ever put it in the game, and you can judge them by how they want to announce it whenever they finally do, and if they don't, that's another thing they did wrong. Fine, but it's not in the game, and you don't have to buy it.
Just don't buy
Get
it.
over it.
That don't work no more.
Oh, okay.
The worst thing is
Money's
that
just flying out of your wallet because
you can
can't
only
do
use
anything about
one
it.
emote at a time that you buy.
That's
which
also
is
silly.
Stupid.
That's so
Yeah,
dumb.
that's weird.
Okay, we've done. That's our Destiny
Hang on.
quotient.
Hang on.
Oh my God! Do you want to talk more about Destiny?
No.
Okay.
I have important information.
Oh, what?
Pandas.
Okay, here we go.
Kingdom.
Pandas.
Animalia, they're animals. Phylum, Chordata, whatever. Class, Mammalia, they're mammals. Order, Carnivora, which is interesting because they are carnivores, but their diet consists
only
of
bamboo.
99% bamboo. But they will eat small rodents
If you put one in front of it.
and meat sometimes.
Okay.
Suborder, Caniformia. Family, Ursidae, i.e. bears.
Yeah.
Ursidae.
Yep.
So they're bears.
Great to know. So technically, there was a bear Ninja Turtle ally. Uneasy alliance, to be honest.
Turtles and bears, yeah. I mean, a panda could conceivably eat a turtle.
Yeah. It wouldn't work that hard though. I feel
It wouldn't.
Pandas are so dumb. Oh.
They're and they are lazy
Yeah, they're super lazy.
and kind of
Yeah.
mean. I hear,
Yeah.
and they don't like to
somebody's
procreate, so
trying to
we
make
have to
them do
force
stuff.
them.
You have to,
Yeah.
like,
I
really, like-
imagine that like their bamboo diet comes from laziness. They're like, I could chase this thing, or the trees aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Just gonna, like I'll make it work.
They don't even like how it tastes, but it's just there.
They're just like, I don't know, man.
They're like, this stuff grows about as fast as I move.
There's so much of it. Yeah, I'll just take some. We have huge news to talk about, actually.
Here's news.
So the Nintendo NX. This is Nintendo's official code name for its next console. I should state that. Nintendo has sent out software development kits to publishers for the NX, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. And by the way, Wall Street Journal alone. Wall Street Journal has some inside contacts that no one else has. It's really strange.
Dude, the Wall Street Journal, why is that strange?
They got deep roots.
Because no, it's strange because the Wall Street Journal rarely breaks video game news.
But this is more business news than video game at
It
this
is.
moment.
This is business news,
We
yeah.
don't really have any actual details towards gaming, and you know this console is still at least a year out, right?
It could be less than a year
It'll
out.
become gaming news when they talk about it and what games you can play on it.
So here is the news. Here is basically the big details of this article. Looking to hit 2016. People familiar with the development plans said Nintendo would likely include both a console and at least one mobile unit that could either be used in conjunction with the console or taken on the road for separate use. That's a crazy sentence. Also, lastly, Nintendo will aim to put industry-leading chips in the NX devices after criticism that the Wii U's capabilities didn't match those of competitors. This is all language from the article itself.
Yeah, that's very Wall Street Journal language. Just
Yeah.
chips.
Oh, I know. We don't.
Very not industry talk.
The whole time that the PS4 and Xbox One were announced to actually coming out, we never used the word chips once. We never talked about chips.
You know how many chips are in there, man?
I don't know how many chips are in a PS4.
It's like a bunch.
How many chips does the Xbox One have?
Like a party
Fewer.
bag size.
They've got their own chip just to do
Yeah.
the share button.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
They
many
probably do.
chips.
I want to talk about those industry-leading chips. Can we take that seriously? Will the NX have industry-leading chips?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean anything because like it could be industry leading like mobile chips or like that doesn't say what it could be.
I mean, it
just
would kind
sounds
of
like-
have to be, right? If you're taking one of those units on the go or whatever. But that's the thing. Like an industry-leading chip could be the same thing they put in the iPads, and the iPads
Yeah,
you
to
know,
I
me,
assume that they mean
Semi-powerful.
processors.
Yes.
sure.
Processors both in graphics and probably integrated, regular processors.
The problem
CPUs,
is,
yeah.
if it does, it'll be too expensive.
I think they'll be
I don't-
affordable by mid
I mean,
next
too
year.
too expensive for a Nintendo device
Would it?
without third-party games.
Well, I think that that's the reason why that would even come up is because the handicap in the past 2 generations is that they're not on equal grounds for third-party games.
Yes,
Right.
and I think that's actually what is interesting about this is that you're right. It's the other part after criticism that the Wii U's capabilities don't match that of the competitors. Because when the Wii U was coming out, Nintendo wasn't acting like the Wii was a failure at the end of the Wii's lifetime. They didn't say, "Oh, a lot of people complained that the Wii wasn't strong enough. That's where we're making the Wii U really powerful." They kind of just said, "Yeah, we're doing the same thing again."
Well,
And so
No,
it's-
that's where the whole stupid name came in. Was like the last one was Wii, and now there's the U. So it's like like the individual gamer as well. It's not just like groups and families and parties. So there was talk to that. There was sort of this weird mixed messaging where they wanted to appeal to the hardcore gamers again, but it was just because it's still it was like this weird like middle ground where it was more powerful than the last gen, but not as powerful as this gen. Yeah.
Do you think if
And
they
it had a
named it
weird
something
tablet.
different than that, it would have done better?
it would have done marginally
No.
better.
I don't think so.
I think it would have done better.
It would have sold
Honestly,
100,000 more consoles.
People
But it
were
wasn't a
confused.
bad idea,
They thought
though.
it was
Yeah.
just an upgrade
Yeah.
to the Wii. And
Right.
They were like, oh, I don't need that.
Yeah,
You're
no,
right.
they definitely had a name problem. There's still a lot of people that don't realize it's a new system.
But at the same time, like, let's throw some crazy things out there. I would say like half of the Wii's success was probably like just people who have never bought a game console before who just wanted to play Wii Sports.
Right, and
with
those
their
are the
kids
people
and
who don't
grandparents.
understand that the Wii U is a different system.
Well, yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're right, but I
absolutely.
think at the time they probably thought that it was a good idea to still include the Wii, like for those people
Yeah.
who have no idea what they're doing and they say, "Oh, this is the new Wii." It's like how they looked at Apple and saying, "Oh, I'm going to buy a new iPad or a new iPhone or whatever," right?
iPhone S.
They never
Yeah.
changed the name, like the base part of the name, but they throw like a little identifier on there to be like, "It's the new one." I don't think that was a bad idea. I just don't think it worked for them, and I mean, move on.
Call it the Wii 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
the,
do that.
The numbering is a tried and true method.
Yeah.
It works. Don't reinvent the wheel.
I think though what Nintendo didn't realize is that like the Wii U was failing in its later years. It was definitely dipping. Or sorry, the Wii was failing in its later years. And so they're like, hey, let's continue off this
The Wii
momentum.
U is also
Literally
failing.
everybody
Yeah.
already had one though. Like,
yeah. But so it's like let's continue off this momentum where there was no momentum. They thought they could transition all those Wii sales into Wii U sales, and that clearly didn't happen.
I think they were still making money hand over fist towards the end of the life cycle for the Wii.
They weren't.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, it was. I think the games weren't selling.
The games weren't selling. The consoles, it really fell off. You're probably right because everyone had one. But yeah, I mean,
they were selling at $250 when they launched at not a loss,
right.
right? I mean, that thing, you can't call it a failure ever. In no
Right,
respect.
but
Not a failure like sales wise or anything.
Sure.
But definitely like history will not remember it. Like the numbers will be great, but like I think that when you look back on it and what it did for Nintendo and where it's the trajectory they've taken since then, it's not going to be looked back on. with
Certainly not
smiles
like
and
the
laughter.
PS2 or the 64.
So is the NX positioned to be the thing that fixes the Nintendo, that writes that path that the Wii sent us on?
God, I hope so, but I don't know. It's because it sounds like I personally, I love Nintendo, grew up on it, and I especially like portables. So I love the idea of like something that's on the go-y. I just worry that they're not the ones to do it, and they've like been making so many gambles with like the Wii, and that paid off. The Wii U did not pay off. It feels like they're just rolling the dice again with this system, and I would rather just like, you know what, let PS4, like let Sony, let them do something crazy.
Well,
You
they
just
did.
show me you can make a regular console first, and then the next one you go crazy
Well,
again.
the thing is
my-
like, sorry, no, that's just not the game that Nintendo has played or needs to play. Like making a gaming console that you can also play Call of Duty on, that you can also play whatever you want on, it doesn't matter because the hardcore gamers already have PC, PS4, or Xbox. You're not going to play Call of Duty on the next Nintendo system because they just made it as powerful as your Xbox.
What if it's more powerful?
Who cares?
with those industry-leading chips, Matt.
Sorry. Oh, instead of 1280 by 720 at 60 frames, now it's 1440. You think that's really going to sway people to pay $400 for another console?
What if
People
it's
seem
1080
pretty
60?
number excited.
I think there's a possibility. That's what I want to ask. Is like Blood. Yes. Would people buy a super-powered Nintendo console that runs the games? Let's say, okay. So the one game that we do know that is probably coming to NX is Dragon Quest XI. Let's say Dragon Quest XI outperforms on the NX outperforms the PlayStation 4. Is that a big deal?
I don't think that's necessarily a big deal. I mean, I think even like it would be interesting to see how new adopters like react to that, you know, because like Dragon Quest XI is going to sell consoles in Japan no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't know whether people would really go for the PS4 or a better version on the NX. That's really interesting to me.
You know what really could sell this console for Dragon Quest in particular is if you can take your HD Dragon Quest XI on the road and play it anywhere you want.
That's
you
true.
will not be able to do that on the PS4 because it's not going to be on the Vita. Maybe not right away, but
Yeah.
Remote play.
Yeah, but remote play, you have to have a connection.
But remote play is mostly garbage and it always depends on the internet.
Agreed.
It's not even the Vita or the PlayStation or their network's fault. It's like your network's fault or wherever you are. Like there are too many variables there. It just didn't work out, and that sucks because that was actually a great initiative, and a lot of people complain about it. There was even a class action lawsuit about the Vita, you know, and like some crazy settlement was reached because you can't play PS4 games or PS3 games on the go. Because
As
remote
was
play just
advertised?
didn't, as
That's
was
funny.
advertised. And they, I don't think Nintendo's going to be able to make that work like streaming, because clearly it just doesn't, no matter what kind of hardware you throw behind it.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like maybe they're going to try to pick up where Sony left off with this and say you can actually take like an installed game with you on the go. Maybe imagine a Wii U gamepad or something a little bit more attractive and take that thing on the go with you. Maybe. That'd be great.
Yeah.
To me, that's what I think, because like it seems like it's a 3DS and a Wii U crammed together.
Yeah.
And that means the games will have to be compromised to be able to run on the go.
Yeah, and I don't think they will.
But think about it like just having like a gaming PC and a laptop. Just make it like scale down like the shadows and the like the graphics.
Yeah.
Just make it like that. I think that PC gaming already does that. You can already run like the same game on a huge variety of different things. Just mimic that method of, I don't know, game development.
Yeah, and
you can do it.
Maybe that'd be the ones to figure it out.
That's the whole thing. Like, as in terms of like talking about being like another crazy idea, I don't think it is a crazy idea. I think it actually is a somewhat conservative idea, because if you look at Nintendo's release schedule, like all the time they do this thing where it's like they put out a Wii U game and a 3DS game
On the same day.
In the same day.
Yeah.
Without any thought that like Nintendo fans want to play both of those games. And so they've already been doing a lot of this behind the scenes business consolidation of their teams and things like that. And I really think that, this is going to be a setup where you have these two platforms, but you get the same games on either platform.
That's actually interesting, because looking at it in that kind of framework, this is actually a huge scale down for Nintendo, because for the longest time they've been doing both a console and a handheld at the same time. Now they're just doing one that's both. And I mean, maybe this is, like the pessimistic view of that is this is step one on the road to not making hardware anymore, because they just pare it down and then they pare it down and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Or, if it works, then maybe whatever. But
Maybe they start manufacturing phones like there was a rumor too
Right.
before the Wii U, like when they're
And the
experimenting with
other thing-
touchscreens
Or
and
an
all these
operating
different texts.
system.
Yeah.
The other thing there that they pointed out is at least one mobile device, which means, as they've said before, that this could be what their goal is to be more like the iPad, iPhone, where you have a whole range of devices that play the same games, and you pay for how much power you want or what features you want.
I think the only thing I disagree with is that I think there will be console games that won't work on the mobile version of whatever this is. I think there will every game on your mobile thing will work on your console, but I think if you're courting third parties, if you're getting Dragon Quest XI to run on your console, it's not going to work on your handheld version of this.
I think
That's my theory.
They have to make it work if they want this to work.
Or it
But
could
they
be
gotta
the 3DS version, and it's like cross-save or something like that.
Yeah. There is a 3DS version of Dragon Quest XI coming that is unique to 3DS.
Yes.
I feel like the only way they couldn't make things like work on both the portable and the home console would be like a control limitation. I don't think like graphically or anything that would be. I think there's workarounds. I think the harder thing is making sure like all of the controls and stuff line up.
Oh, like with when you're playing on Vita, you don't have two.
You're missing the two things.
Yeah.
And you have
And
like a
it's the
weird.
Well,
back
they
touch thing.
map it on
Yeah.
the touchpad or whatever. And
Yeah, but that sucks.
It does.
it
Yeah.
does, but you can use the PS4 has custom buttons, so you can swap them around if you want to, which is nice, but still not a perfect solution.
Just make them the same. Just like
Exactly. Yeah.
streamline it.
Yeah.
My hope for the NX is that it launches with a Pro controller. My hope is that it launches saying, hey, we realize the people who buy consoles when they launch are the people who are dedicated core gamers.
I think
much as
the
I hope.
handheld. I think the handheld is going to be the controller.
No way, dude. That's
Yeah.
what
Well, it's
that's
going
what
to be.
I want.
I don't think
it's
it-
going to be
I think
a
it-
controller.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna make like a smaller Wii U pad, and that'll be the controller.
Don't you think that would be a mistake?
Yes.
If it looked like it just looks exactly like the thing
Yes.
that just failed?
Here's my thing. Like, I mean, I've said this before, but like Nintendo, I'm very skeptical of them with hardware because like with consoles, every single time since the 64, they've limited themselves like intentionally in a very weird way. Like when everyone else went CDs, they were still cartridges. When everyone else went HD, they were still SD. When everyone else went like had comparable power, they didn't. The GameCube had tiny little DVDs. So you had to have a game on 2 or 3 discs for
Those
no
were so
reason.
cool, though.
Yeah, they looked cute, but like it's just
They also
always
loaded
limit
fast.
themselves.
Yeah,
sure.
that was always for loading times. Both of
But,
those.
like,
systems.
I don't know.
Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Loads immediately, and it's so cool for that.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. They've always seemed, in my opinion, to limit themselves in some weird way. And I think they're going to do it again. They always do it.
Their strategy does feel really introverted, as in that
Yeah.
like they don't look at their
They
competition
don't.
for
They
what
don't
we
look
value.
without. Yeah, they don't look
But
without.
they still have good ideas, but like maybe the execution wasn't as great, or maybe it wasn't something like they just failed to predict what we actually wanted. I think you could find examples of both.
Yeah. Well, they underestimated people's patience for one.
Yeah.
They didn't think people would want to sit through load screens.
Sure, and we're
Dude.
totally fine with it.
When the Wii U came out, those loads were hilarious.
You're right. The Wii
Like
U's
just
loads are the
starting
worst of
up the
anything.
Wii U
Yeah.
was like, what the hell is happening? Why did this get out the door?
As we wrap up the conversation, if this is 2016, which I think is pretty crazy, if this is happening next year, what does that launch lineup look like?
You gotta have Zelda. You gotta have.
Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah.
No, Twilight Princess HD, that's happening soon, I feel like, for the Wii U.
They should
No, we
save
haven't
it.
even.
I'm
We've
feeling it.
heard nothing but rumors.
Data mining.
Fine, but that's the thing. Like,
Data mining's legit.
I don't see that happening any sooner than the end of 2016, which is the soonest we could see this new console. And they push back every big game that they've had over the last year. Even some of the small games. And it feels like they just had a lot of software-related issues, maybe with the Wii U.
Is the question like what we think they're gonna do, or what like would sell some things?
Oh no, why? So you think that you're thinking it's going to be worse than what will actually sell some things?
I'm trying to like think back to all the like launches in recent history. What launch has been like this is solid? Like
None.
Super Nintendo.
the
Super Nintendo. Yeah, great. Probably best launch ever.
That's the
I
thing,
bought
yeah.
like the best 3DS launch game was Street Fighter 4,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
and
I
did way
bought-
better online. Than
With the 3DS, I
PS.
bought 0 games for a long time. I just like collected
Same
puzzle
thing with the
pieces.
Vita.
Yeah.
PS4. It was my just like new Netflix box for a long time.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they have to do. Like they have to take a page out of Sony's press conference book and just be like, "Oh, everything you ever wanted, here you go.
Yeah.
Buy
Yeah.
an NX, please."
I
like
think they can
Super
do it.
Metroid, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Galaxy 3,
Yeah.
Zelda, whatever.
Because their primary
That would be
Mario
huge.
team hasn't made a game since 3D World,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that was 2 years ago because we had Toad last year.
Yeah. They
Retro
better be
hasn't done
working on
anything since Donkey
everything.
Kong.
Yeah. And
Mario
so
64 too.
I think yes.
Yeah.
I think
Dude.
Mario 128.
Yeah,
Come on,
Mario
Snap
128.
in my dreams and expectations, there is a huge Mario game that comes out at this console's launch,
Please.
and it's
be
not a
3D.
2D Mario game.
Please be 3D and more
Metroid.
than 8 worlds and 8
Yeah.
levels each. Like,
Yeah, if they do a Metroid, it's like a 2D
that's-
Metroid. My God.
Or like just
3D.
A really good Metroid game, even though I guess Metroids don't they're not blockbusters for them in the same way. It like makes a statement
Yes.
that they're committed to like quality, and I think it would blow people's minds, they would be on board. I think that everybody wants Nintendo has somehow become the underdog now, and everybody wants Nintendo to like be great again.
Yes.
In ways that they honestly, if you think about it, never were, but like I don't
They've
I don't
been
mean
the underdog.
No. I love great. That sounds like bad, but I mean like they want them to be a great company, but also like a modern, humble company. Whereas during their heyday, they were like jerks.
Oh, they definitely
were. Like
were.
Huge dicks, and it's what
Yep.
caused them to like fall from grace in the first place. I want them to be like quality of old, but like humble.
Still have that Iwata vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Because in my mind, they've been underdogs since after the last time they were on top was the Super Nintendo. In my opinion,
Okay.
they've been underdogs since. Do you guys agree with that?
No,
Yeah.
but the Wii and the DS were so popular. They like
They
crushed it
sold
with
a
those.
lot,
Yeah.
but like
The
Yeah.
DS, no, the DS crushed the PSP. When the
DS
PSP
oh, well,
launched,
yeah.
the PSP looked like the surefire winner when the PSP was announced.
yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, look at this thing. This thing, they got like squirrels in the commercials. DS is done. And then DS stomped it. And then the Vita came. It's like, oh, look at the Vita. Look at that stupid 3DS. And then it stomped the Vita. Yeah, I would say Nintendo's
hand-
not an underdog there.
But here's the thing: in handhelds, yeah, they've led.
Yeah.
But in consoles, they've been the underdog since after the Super.
Nah, the Wii sold like crazy. Wii's like greatest of all time.
Yeah, the Wii just
Actually, no, PS2 is.
Yeah.
But
For
still,
how much
Wii was
nostalgia
Well, and
exists
they're-
on the 64, I would be remiss to say that it wasn't like competition, or at least solid
Yeah,
competition.
but
to
it
the
never touched
PlayStation.
the PlayStation.
PlayStation
Yeah.
stomped it. Yeah.
PlayStation is like legendary.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, 64 is too, but
Well, yeah,
I'm not going to say. I'm
well,
not
and
going
then
to say it
but
stomped.
PS2 like that
yeah.
they crushed it there.
Yeah.
God, the PS2 was so good.
Blood, I haven't heard you say a game. What game launches with the NX?
Oh, well, I mean, I think Zelda is for sure happening.
So do you think they'll launch on the Wii U and the NX at the same time, or do you think that they'll just transfer it to NX and give people Twilight Princess HD to make them happy on Wii U?
No, I think it'll likely be on both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what they should do?
Just like Twilight Princess
Trade
was in the
in.
first place.
If you trade in a Wii U, I mean, this is ridiculous, but if you trade in a Wii U, you get like $100 off an NX.
No, GameStop will do
A
that
lot
for
of- a
sure.
lot of people
yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
actually.
GameStop
Yeah.
will do that for you. Absolutely.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's completely backwards compatible because they've been doing that. So.
Yeah. Oh, weird. Iwata said some really strange things that are popping up now because of all this NX news. Something about absorbing the architecture of the Wii U, which it really does make me think that it'll be backwards compatible.
Well, their
which
history
I thought
with
would be
doing that has
impossible.
been a little bit awkward, to say the best, to say the least, I guess. But
What? They're the best backwards compatible in the biz.
But have you actually used it? That's the thing. On the Wii U, when you play the
Yeah.
Wii, you have to load the Wii infrastructure and everything. I know you've used it.
Yeah.
But it just seems so clunky to me, and like Joe Schmo user is not going to really care about that. Really, I mean, look at what happened with the Wii U.
And the PS4.
The backwards compatibility is not selling Wii U's, obviously.
And it's not selling PS4s. PS4 is like a non-factor. With
Do you guys
backwards
do you guys
compatibility.
like separate portables from the discussion?
Oh, sure, you're
'Cause,
right. Yeah.
Like I specifically like I didn't have any. I had Game Boys until N64, so like portable has always been a big part of my. I like don't differentiate.
Sure.
But like their backwards compatibility is unmatched. I still play like original Game Boy games on like my SP and all this other stuff. So for me, they've always crushed it with backwards
The
compatibility.
3DS backwards compatibility for me, like that's the best example, because you literally have all of these games on the. I mean, I know they didn't make all of the advanced games that were. That's the weird thing to me, is like they have clearly figured out all the different games to be playable on the 3DS, especially the new ones.
Also,
But
they're
they're not
releasing DS
available.
games. Also, they're releasing DS games on the Wii U and not the 3DS eShop is mind-boggling.
It's really weird.
It's really bizarre, but like I have probably 50 games on my 3DS, and an ambassador program gave me like 20 of them, whatever. But that machine is fantastic, and they have it seamlessly. Like every game is side by side on your 3DS.
Yeah.
You really, really got to make it convenient. I mean, look at the UIs you have on all of our modern devices right now, and then look at what you have on the Wii U. It's super clunky. You got different types of hardware in for different things. They got to figure that out.
No, Wii U is the same thing. It looks the same as an iPhone. Just there's your games.
No,
they're all in
but
boxes.
you have to load into Wii mode, and
Right.
then you have to do the whole. Then you have to
So
switch
on the
over to
Wii
using
mode,
the
you can't
remote.
use like the
Can't use the
controls on the
gamepad.
gamepad.
Sure.
And
You're right. You have to swap out
Yeah,
controllers.
it basically.
even. Yeah.
Does it just
Technicalities
load
and
basically like a Wii
inconveniences.
emulator? Is that what is
Yeah,
happening?
pretty
Okay.
There's like a Wii inside the Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah. But PS3 had the same problem where you had to have the launch thing had PS2 tech in there because they couldn't figure out how to emulate their software. And I understand it's really tough and difficult, but when you make it a selling point, you really got to deliver. And these days, you got to deliver in a way that's super convenient and super easy. Because some of these games, Square Enix has put all the Dragon Quest games on an iPad, and it's click it, loads up, play.
What about
say what you will about the quality of it, but still the convenience is right there. And
how does Xbox
sells.
One do their backwards compatibility?
It's kind of weird. Like you still load the game like you would load any other game, but then when it loads, yeah, it's like loading a virtual Xbox and like signs you into Xbox Live and all of that stuff.
You just have to like prove that you own it with the disc, and then it streams it.
But what does it
whatever,
look like when
Does
you
it-
hit like the home button? Are you emulating 360 software as well?
Yeah, like when you hit the home button or whatever, you pull up the Xbox thing.
Is it pretty good?
I think there's different. Yeah, it's weird. I think there's like different buttons for different things. Like I think you can still go to the Xbox One home screen. I don't remember. Because it's all on Rare Replay, but that was like a couple months ago now.
Sure. It's all weird stuff. Yeah, I think they could get by fine without advertising backwards compatibility. Wii U is going to be a little pit stain on the timeline of Nintendo's consoles, I feel like. Which sucks, because I love that Wii U.
I love it now. It's like one of those things where it was not what I wanted when they made it, but now that I've like gotten past my expectations, I'm like, oh, I can appreciate it for like what it is.
Yeah.
Well, and as Ian said, I mean the UI was not finished. They launched it with an unfinished interface,
Yeah.
and that was just another bad news on top of everything else.
Absolutely.
Was it just to rush
undercooked.
it out the door?
I think
guess
so,
yeah.
Well, that's what a 2016 NX launch date sounds like to me. It's like oh man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe if it doesn't have, oh god, but it does. It does have a little handheld. It's all right there in the article.
If they can figure that out to let you play Dragon Quest on the go, they've got
It sounds like though that it's not required.
Yeah.
The way
Right.
which might be good.
Well, it is weird that
Yeah.
they say at least one thing or whatever, alluding to the fact that you're going to want, for some reason or another, maybe multiple. Although they did the same thing with the gamepad on the Wii U, and look what happened there. You can't actually buy a second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, yeah, it would not work.
So who knows? Who knows? Maybe they actually, one of the things they have to do is obviously deliver on some of the things they say, which most consoles have not been able to do lately.
Yeah. I think this is going to be more like the GBA connectivity than it is going to be like the Wii U.
And I hope otherwise. But at the same time, maybe they get those games that are system sellers. Maybe there's connectivity between the NX and the 3DS versions of Dragon Quest that you don't get if you play it on PS4 or whatever. You got to have some wins. And you got to put out Zelda day one. You got to have a Mario at least announced by day one. You've got to have at least 3 Nintendo intrinsic reasons to buy the console. Otherwise, screw it.
Well, and if it's like a Game Boy Advance GameCube like setup, Crystal Chronicles HD.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
All right, we'll move on. We'll start talking about other things than Nintendo. Sorry that I know, Ian, you get bored when we talk about Nintendo, don't you?
Yeah, more like when it's like Pokemon or the games. Talking about Nintendo, the company, is interesting. 'Cause
Okay.
I think they make bad
You don't like
choices, and it's
Pokemon?
interesting. I've just never really did on it.
He falls asleep every time I start talking about Pokemon.
I'm gonna hug him after the show because I think it sounds like
And then
He needs one.
you might the warmth might make him like start loving Pokemon.
I was a Sega girl. I didn't have the Nintendo stuff.
it's never too late.
You can just still watch the show. The show is for everyone.
I think it's too late.
I just went back and played through Yellow. It's the original generation is still so good.
Yeah. Wait, actually, you were tweeting your Pokédex. How are you doing?
149.
Okay.
I'm going to have to cheat to get Mew. With a
Well,
game
okay,
shirt.
so no, you don't have to cheat to get Mew.
I'm not buying another copy of Yellow and doing the glitch.
I did it. I did the Mew glitch. It's so cool.
Do you have Mew?
No, I deleted that save file.
That
I will
seems like
get
the
you
same
Mew.
thing to do.
I will get you Mew.
Can you also get me a Kabuto? Those are the two I'm missing. Kabuto and Mew.
Davis, I will do that for you. I have a copy of Pokemon Blue still that I rewrote it for like some dumb thing for Damiani, like because I like there's like a weird test that he had to do, so I had to reset my Pokemon Blue. So I'll do that. I'll get you a Kabuto. That's pretty
Did it-
early. That's like Mount Moon, right?
Did it make you sad?
No, you got to
to
take
do
it to Cinnabar Island and
No, I'll just trade
turn
you
the
the.
fossil.
Oh, you can't trade items in that
Gen
game.
1, man.
Okay, all right. Dang. Yeah, then we gotta go all the way over to Blaine and like. Oh, okay. Well, I'll start on that mission. Because you're 149, man. That's so close.
Yeah.
Wait, so you have Kabutops, but not Kabuto?
Yeah.
How?
I just traded to get the.
Oh, and back
Yeah.
then you can't make babies even.
No.
Yeah. Tough
All right.
generation.
Take
Okay,
get a,
all right.
Get a room,
okay.
you two.
All right,
Get
all
a
right,
room.
all right. So here's what happened this week. Oh, another fancy publication, The New Yorker, broke more video game news. We're getting stomped by the fancies.
Get out of here, print media. You're not relevant anymore.
By the way,
And yet they're breaking stories on things that are.
for the
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal, I had to spend $12 to get a subscription.
It's bullshit.
Yeah,
They
well-
have paper, or you have to pay to go on their website.
yeah.
Go to hell.
But apparently, like that's how you do it now. The New York Times is went
Yeah, that's
subscription, and they're like
dumb.
killing it. Yeah, it probably is.
Old people probably love that shit.
They do. Anyway, the New Yorker ran an article about Kojima and why he left Konami. Part of this was talking about this party that happened on October 9th, Kojima's last day at Konami. And basically what happened after that, and also that Kojima's non-compete clause ends in December. Those were the big details that actually came out of a nice piece about that would explain everything to everybody about like normal people who read the New Yorker is basically who the target was. So those are the video game tidbits
People
we get
who
out
are
of
like,
it.
who's Kojima?
Yeah. It's a really nice article. They interviewed Tabata as well, the guy who's directing Final Fantasy 15, and he's crushed by this. He's crushed by Kojima leaving. He's just like, we mean nothing, don't we? Like video game directors in Japan says.
There's
yes,
a lot
you
of
don't.
that
Yes.
going around,
Yeah.
That's why we have all these big Kickstarters and big names trying to either revive their franchises or get spiritual successors going and things like that. I can't tell whether sometimes that's sad because they can't move on, or maybe they just finally want to do it without the overhead, like that's always been there.
Ken Levine as well, yeah. Just chop off the directors ahead of all these things, yeah.
Cyan Worlds, they're trying to do another thing.
Who's
They did-
Cyan Worlds?
They did Myst. They're
Yeah.
doing abduction
Okay.
right now. They're having financial
They'll
problems.
do this time.
Yeah.
Like it's
They're
interesting.
collecting now, yeah.
It's definitely interesting to see the drive to do like kind of the same thing that they did, but maybe just better, or finally get like
Yeah.
the quintessential version of what they always meant to do. It's also, of course, sad but inevitable that they can't take their franchises with them. In the case of Kojima, of course, everybody's thinking about Metal Gear because he's been doing it for
He's
20
probably
25 years.
like doing the jig in his room. I feel like he's not wanted to do Metal Gear for like 3 games.
He's been
It's
vocal
true.
about
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so now he's probably just like, this is great.
This is the easiest situation for him, you're
Yeah.
right. He's got his golden
I
parachute.
don't know about
Bow
easy.
tie 3.
Yeah.
It'll never be easy to walk away from it, but sure, hopefully he can find some relief in not
I think he
needing to.
wants to do his own, like have his own company. Like that's what he was trying to do, and they
Yeah.
got pissed.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have the money to make his own company. He doesn't have the
He
money to
can
make
get it.
Metal Gear
I
Solid
think he
5 on
could
his
find
own.
it.
If he walked into Kickstarter, it would be funded in like 3 minutes.
It would be funded in 3 minutes, but it would never reach 80 million. It would never reach
Sure.
the budget of Metal Gear Solid 5.
He'd have to do something smaller.
Star Citizen is gonna like hit 100 million pretty soon. So like, it is not commonplace by any
Sure.
means, but it's not doable. And I feel like Kojima is the kind of like legend that could pull it off.
But I also feel like he'd have to do something very different than Kickstarter, because I am certain that he had a budget that was not 80 million.
You think it was more?
No, I think it was originally much less. And then
Oh,
he was like,
gotcha,
we
gotcha,
need more,
gotcha.
we need
Sure.
more, we need
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Hey, he'd get like 30 grand out of Huber, no problem. Look at all the people in this picture. I know audio people can't see it, but like
Sure.
they're cheersing and smiling, but
That
they're
dude
not
looks so
smiling
sad
with
on
their
the right.
eyes. Yeah, they're dead inside.
Oh, sure. The article actually said that it was like kind of happy and sad at the same time. There were
It's gotta
tears.
be. It's
Yeah.
gotta
Well,
be.
like not only just because he's leaving, but they're all just like, we're still here. Konami's gone insane.
Hello, darkness.
I think part of his team is gone too. Actually, so this is really funny part of the story as well. Konami, in response to this article coming out, said that Kojima still works at Konami. He is simply on vacation right now.
He's got a lot of paid time off stacked up, I think,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, they said he's just on vacation. Like don't worry about Kojima.
He's on vacation until the end of the year when he doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
It sounds like that the like ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend that like doesn't get that it's over. Like, no. We're fine. We're just taking a second. We're great. We're great. Yeah. Like, no, he's done.
He's
It's
so gone.
It's confusing to me though because like Konami it's like they can't make up their mind because they'll be like, no, Kojima's not gone. Don't worry. Nobody worry. But then, like, in another article, you're like, we hate video games. We're just doing slot machines now.
And mobile games.
Yeah,
I have a
it's like, why
feeling-
not just go all the way in that direction? Why hold on?
Well, that's what happens when you have a whole lot of people that maybe don't agree with each other but work at the same company speaking on behalf of that company.
What's that like?
That's really weird, huh?
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and move on. I want to talk about this week in microtransactions. Always love having new microtransactions news to talk about. My favorite thing on any podcast is like when they get to the microtransactions part. I'm just rubbing my hands together.
You want me to talk about Assassin's Creed microtransactions?
It's like
I'm pretty sure I can
Pokemon
do
all
that.
over
We'll
again.
get there. Yeah. Oh boy, the Assassin's Creeds make me mad too. So here's what happened. This has already happened. We didn't cover it. Payday 2 announced a microtransaction. Just put them in the game actually, where at the end of a match you get what's called a safe. And there is an item within the safe that's probably like it's something you wear, but it does have stat boosts attached to it occasionally. Not all of them do, but some of them do. In order to open that safe, you had to buy a drill that would cost $2.50.
Oh, gross.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
You're paying for RNG?
yeah.
Ugh.
So obviously fan base is mad, especially because the team themselves behind Payday 2, before the game launched, promised there would be no microtransactions. I'm going to use their words. This is from Almir Listo, the game's producer. We've made it clear that Payday 2 will have no microtransactions whatsoever. In parentheses, shame on you if you thought otherwise. So
Oh my God.
Then they come out with this. Obviously, there's an uproar. And so what happened this week is there's a compromise. Now drills will also appear randomly at the end of matches. So you have a chance to earn a drill at the end of a Payday 2 match, but you can still buy drills for $2.50. That is the situation right now.
Wow.
This is weird.
Not having the
this is
foresight.
so weird.
Like, it's not that difficult to establish the foresight to see this coming. Honestly, genuinely. There's like, and the thing that they think that this is a good solution when this should have probably been the situation to begin with. Mm-hmm. But this is where that weird fine line is drawn, where for some reason I draw it too, where it's like, you have to pay for this item, completely different from you can pay for this item.
It's not
true.
completely different.
It's true. It's completely
different.
different. It's just how you feel about it.
It's marginally different.
How you feel about it can cross that line all you want, but it is still completely different.
It's not, because now those items, those things you can wear that sometimes have stat boosts on them that are locked in safes, were created to raise money for the game.
Yes.
Those are in the game for monetization. That's
Yes.
the game's design. I'm
Now,
saying it affects the game's design.
The
That's
only
what's
way to
rotten.
get it, paying for it, that's over the line. That's over that really fine line that's probably really blurry. And
So
most
now that people
can't
have
see it.
random drills, it's okay. It's completely different. Now it's cool.
I think that this whole thing is not okay, but if they were going to do this at all, this is how it should have started, obviously.
So wait a minute, just so I'm more clear. Payday 2, the way it works is you're a team of humans against a team of humans.
AI.
So they're always your enemies are always
The
AI.
police are always AI. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes. I mean, it's not great, but like, if you were competing against other people and you had a stat boost that you spent $30 to get, like that'd be weird. But against AI, it's kind of just like, oh, my character's a little cooler. I mean, it's still shitty. And also, I feel like I need to clarify because my reaction to this runs anathema to my reaction to the Destiny thing.
Sure.
The Destiny thing, like paying to increase your drop odds, to me is a little bit different than having to pay to get a random drop in a safe.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the backpedaling, like that's I don't even know if you can really call it backpedaling. It's like, if they were truly backpedaling, they just pull it from the game altogether. But like when you kind of tweak it but then leave it in there, after what they said,
Yeah.
I really want to know more about the context of that sentence because you do have quotes on the paper, and I believe that you took the quotes. From the paper.
It
What is
was
that from?
it was a post on their own forums.
Okay, so like a
there was
forum
some
post.
people upset about like some things
So
leading
I'm
into the
assuming
launch of the game.
Probably a developer or somebody more closely related to the development team who's like no, and then somebody else who's
This is
just
a
making-
producer, man. This is the guy up on top.
The producer's never on top.
Executive producers are.
Sure, yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, the funny thing with this is where it is now is where it should have been when it came out and would have still pissed people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but less so. I mean, this just shows
People
to me
still
that
would have been pissed.
they didn't even think about this aspect of it before launching the game. And I'm sure they probably had a bunch of people on the staff being like, guys, this is going to suck.
So here's the thing I also want to
Still
talk
there.
about with a situation like this. Last week we didn't cover the story, and I did because we got a lot of comments about it. Basically, we don't cover all games, obviously. This is a heinous microtransaction situation. However, none of us will ever play Payday 2. You know, I think none of us at this table, and probably even Ian.
I have Payday 1
Sure.
installed.
I tried
Not installed,
Payday 1.
but I could install it on my Steam
Yeah, me too.
and pay no more money.
yeah.
So should we spend time on games like these? Is my question. Should we?
Yes.
How come?
There's a quote, and I'm going to misquote it, but it's like, an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. There's a famous quote. I say I was going to get it wrong, but just because it's not our game,
Yeah.
it's we got to look at the whole gaming ecosystem. So
Sure.
Yeah.
we might not care about it, but other game developers who are trying to figure out like the best way to nickel and dime you and not get you angry are.
Yep.
And if it happens in this game and it's successful, everybody else is going to do it.
It's setting a precedent that we cannot allow it to happen. There are going to be tons and tons of games that we don't play that others will look at as an example. That's why we have microtransactions in the first place, is because there's a huge explosion of success on, iOS and Android and stuff like that, where one guy can suddenly make $2 million a month or whatever because he was one of the first people to put it out there, and people were just like, sure, I'll pay you $1 today. Sure, I'll pay you $1 today. And everybody looks at that being like, oh man, I could make my boss really proud of me if I put this in my game and my game suddenly makes $10 more million at launch.
So wait, what's the lesson we're teaching publishers today? From what I gather, the panel wants them just to put in microtransactions from the start instead.
I think we're fighting a losing battle, but I think what we're trying
Yeah.
to do is keep it from being, you have to pay to get this item. Like that's a terrible, terrible precedent. And this is a good example of, them kind of getting slapped on the wrist and learning their lesson maybe a little bit, but it was stupid in the first place.
It makes me so mad because you get a purple safe and you know there's something maybe cool in that safe and you get a drill to open the safe. That's
You
cool.
get a maybe something
Yeah,
cool
inside of
so
the safe.
even the people that are
Yeah.
paying for it get dicked. Like there's
Yeah.
nobody wins.
Yeah.
Nobody wins in this except
the
for them.
worst.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
the thing is, like,
Hearthstone.
Straight bullshit.
But the fact that that's even in the game, and the fact that we have to fight back to get it pulled from the game or changed or whatever, that's the saddest part, is that we don't even trust ourselves with that being in a game. I keep saying, don't pay for it, and I feel like that's not good enough, and it's not.
It's not.
Because we can't trust ourselves to not pay $2 just to see what's in that safe.
But it's poisoning the game's design. It makes me mad the safe
It
is
is,
even there.
because the attention's being taken away from creative ideas and put towards just like mining us for every dollar and penny that we have.
Well, I mean, also, like, there are a lot of human beings on this planet, and, like, you gotta never forget about, the Michael Pactors, the rich guy.
the whales.
Yeah, who, like, spends money instead of time. Like,
Yeah.
to them, like, $30 is worth, 10 hours of grinding in Destiny.
Right.
Or whatever. Like, they're always going to be those
Below
people.
minimum wage.
Yeah. I'd rather them just buy frilly costumes. I just
Right.
want them to buy the costumes. I don't
And
want them
it's
to.
when it affects gameplay, especially versus other people, that it's like really bad.
Yeah.
This is stupid though. Paying for a chance. I mean, I guess Hearthstone does that.
You're
Any
right.
blind
They're
pack.
just booster packs.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a booster pack.
Oh God.
I don't know. The precedent is kind of maybe working itself out. Maybe this is a tiny example of it. It's disgusting while we work our way towards something that's maybe acceptable in the future. But I think we got to keep fighting back.
Does it
That's
actually
important.
disgust you guys? Because I hear something like this and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up, but I don't care.
Because it's Payday 2.
Right. Well, because it's anything. Like, Destiny does shady shit, and I'm like, yeah,
The disgusting part
that's
to
a stupid
me
thing.
is that there are too many people out there that just think like, oh yeah, I'll pay that, and then that gets focused on. Where like the overall quality of things will eventually get detracted from either a tiny bit by tiny bit or in great margins. Kind of hard to predict, but we're setting a precedent if we allow these things to keep coming out in
Yeah.
games. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, anyone trying to make, like, people trying to make money aren't generally, great people.
No. I disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that.
I don't know.
everybody's looking for at least a pat on the back, and
some
that's kind of where it goes
CEO
wrong.
whose only thing is business. I don't know. I'm jaded because I worked in the board of trade doing video with a bunch of traders whose literal only existence was money, like the movement of money. And like more than one occasion, I had people say like things like "money is my god" and things like that. And like after being in that world for 2 years, I just started to see like, oh, all of these people are, because that system, like the stocks thing, is a cyclical, kind of pointless, kind of just like money washing machine, and all of it is meaningless. And so I got into my bad mindset, I guess, about
that's kind of
business
like
people.
gambling addiction as well for some
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Oh, 'cause of
I
the
mean, that's
safes?
what it is.
Yeah.
My friend would always say, like, who was a trader, he was always like, yeah, it's like a video game. It's all pretend. And I'm just like, this is horrifying.
You know what's horrifying is savings accounts like lose money. Like we should all get in the stocks market. Like we're putting money in savings accounts is just stupid.
Savings account don't lose money. They just don't gain money faster than
Inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid. We got to be part of this. And it's those money people getting involved with video games, this thing I love. And you're right, Ian. There are people who are like that. Money
Right.
is my god. And then like when they get involved with video games, it's when nasty things come out.
That's what I'm saying. People
Yeah.
who don't understand the field that they're entering, whose only motive is money,
Yeah.
generally is maybe not evil, but not good.
In Payday 2, you used to be a good guy.
It's
Are you
certainly
moving
not
on from the-
progressive.
I was, but you have a final thought on
just
this.
like a general, just like because I don't hate the idea, like DLC or microtransactions. They're not like, it's not inherently bad. It's just if there's something that's like awesome, I have no problem like spending money on it.
What's an example of that?
Burial at
I
sea.
love, huh?
I'll do one.
I was gonna say, like, I love merch. Like, if I love Star Wars, I have no problem like buying cool T-shirts, awesome figures, like things that are like awesome and cool. And in games too, like expansions to like Borderlands or Elder Scrolls.
Mario
like,
Kart 8, I think, is one of the best examples. Really
things
good
that
stuff.
like it's
Yeah.
like this is a really really cool thing. I'm
Yeah.
paying you for it, and I have it. But like, when you get this weird stuff like, oh, pay to like get XP a little faster for like an hour, or
Yeah.
pay, like it's getting murky, and the point is not there. The point is, you make cool shit. I want to pay for your cool shit. It should be a very simple, really really simple thing where it's just like, oh, I got some awesome shit. I've got some dollar.
Yeah.
Here, like, let's exchange. But now, like, it's just getting insane. That's bonkers that you're not even guaranteed to get anything if you buy this stupid drill.
Right.
I mean, there's something in that safe.
But it could be a giant middle
crap.
finger.
Sure.
Yeah. You could get some weapon that's like less stats than what you already have or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and also, like, I know we're keeping going, but like what Davis just said kind of reminded me of, like, it's the difference between, for me, like Mickey Mouse versus Hello Kitty, you know, where it's like, obviously Disney like basically invented licensing, but like their stuff has like an emotional base where it's like you care about these characters. And I mean, yeah, they're created to make money, right? It's a creative endeavor though, but it has substance. Whereas Hello Kitty, like, pretty much literally is just a brand that they invented, and they're like, let's sell this brand, and now it's like rolled out into other things.
I don't think that's fair.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Well, if
it's
you're putting them on
kinda
a
the
spectrum, you're
difference.
damn right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's move on to, well, you're the one who started this conversation, because those are murky waters. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about. Boy, this question that we have coming up, though, is inflammatory and it's text alone. I'm excited. Let me just make it clear. I don't always pick things that I agree with, and I'm like, all right, let's all talk about something I agree with. Sometimes I pick things and I'm like, ooh, this will really raise a spark. So this comes from Bogey J. Does Halo still matter?
No.
It seems like as time goes on, less and less people care about Halo. It used to be one of the premier franchises in gaming. I remember the anticipation for Halo 2 was like it was unlike anything I've ever seen in gaming since. But there seems to have been a bit of a fall from grace. A lot of gamers nowadays seem lukewarm on Halo. My question for the panel is, when do you think the decline began? So this is an interesting question coming into Halo 5. What I would call probably the most anticipated game of the year. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure the premise is entirely right, but this person does feel this way, so I want to discuss it anyway.
I actually have been wrestling with these thoughts a lot too, because I'm a huge Halo fan.
Sure.
I bought the original Xbox when it came out, like, to get Halo.
Whoa.
Like all that stuff, and especially back then because I had to like pay for my own consoles. it was a big, huge investment, and that game is this beautiful, like, sci-fi. The story is like whatever, but like it puts you in these. I romanticize Halo. It's so great.
Yeah.
But I don't think. Yeah, I'm thinking like no one else is excited about it. I'm like watching all the little videos of like the whole Spartan Locke versus Master Chief like drama they're trying to build.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to get excited with other people, and nobody gives an F word. Like that's at least to
Even
me,
in the other room with the other Warp Zone guys, you like talk to them and they're just like,
they think that they like to watch some of the live action ones. They think it's kind of cool, but like Schroeder specifically, we would like play through things in co-op, like in high school, and like we would play multiplayer. Like it was a big, like I said, huge events, and now people are like, oh, like cool. We'll make like a music video for it, and we'll like play it a little bit or whatever. But like before, I used to, and I'm kind of doing it a little bit here, like comb over every video I could get, like every piece of content before the game could come out. It was insane. You get it at midnight, and yeah, it seems like that's all just...
You know what? You sparked a memory for me, Davis. I remember for Halo 2 reading the weekly Bungie blog and being so stoked about every single dumb little weekly Bungie blog, and there would be a Mr. Chief on the bottom of it. That is so weird that I forgot about that until this moment. You're right. I was hyped for Halo 2, not even owning an Xbox at the time.
Halo 2 is great.
Yeah, the hype for that was unreal, and so you do feel it different coming into Halo 5, I guess. What's missing?
I have a theory.
Okay.
I mean, I think that it speaks a lot, even though every time they do it, they are always like, hey, don't worry, it's still going to be the same great thing. But anytime a company transfers ownership of an IP to another company or subsidiary, you have to, I mean, like, the writing is on the wall where it's like, okay, our A team doesn't care about this anymore, and we're moving it to someone less expensive or someone else so they can go on and do something else.
The A-team left.
Right. And that speaks, in this case, yeah, the A-team left, but I mean just some other times. Like
imagine
they're like
how many
transferring.
reasons for them leaving, then one of them could easily be, we just are tired of making this game.
And if they get fatigued,
Yep.
if the people making a thing, I mean, I said this last week, if you aren't passionate about it, neither will other people be passionate about it.
I get that. Yeah, and Bungie wanted to make something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think, to me, that would be one litmus test of, like, fading interest.
Sure.
Another big part of it, I think, is after 3 is when they started getting a little bit too franchised about it.
Right.
And that's when you saw a big explosion of everything, including spin-offs and different type of genre games. And like some of those might have been enjoyable for their own reasons, and the fanhood still kind of moved forward. But up until that point, it's 1, 2, 3. Like this is the Master Chief adventure, and then suddenly Master Chief wasn't there, and maybe now he's back, but like we can't really figure out how to make him relevant. Everything started feeling like a spin-off. Everything started feeling drawn out. And that happens with some franchises when you just, I mean, look at Assassin's Creed. It has some momentum, but the core fans never really, I mean, that sort of thing fizzles out your momentum after a while. And I think we're kind of seeing a small example of that with Halo, because I think it still has a lot of momentum. People are still buying the game. It's not losing money or anything, but it's not like it's not a huge hype event, because when Halo kind of, I don't know, popularized a hype event around like the Xbox and Halo 1, 2, and probably 3 as well, there were not a lot of comparable things out there, right? Like it kind of changed the game, but then didn't keep changing the game. It just kept playing the same game when other people were improving upon their game.
It's like I think the same thing happened with like StarCraft, where it's like a victim of its own success.
Yeah.
Where it can't change, or they won't change it out of fear of like alienating the fan base. And like you said, spin-offs. The problem with there's like ODST, Reach, which I think were like all fine games, they were still all like too much like regular Halo. Whereas if you look at like, I'm sorry, Ian, but Pokemon, their spin-offs, at least to me, were huge because they were departures. Pinball, Snap, like
Rangers?
the trading card game. Those, not everything's perfect, but like the idea is that like
the trading card game one is awesome, actually.
Yeah,
that Game Boy game is so good.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing is sort of like even though it's a new Halo and it's it's the first Halo this generation. It's got a lot of things that they're putting out there that they haven't done before. But yeah, it's like they've kept Halo in front of us constantly. It's like you had the Halo Anniversary Edition, and you had a Master Chief Collection, and then that kind of blew up in their face,
Okay.
and so that's kind of lost a lot of confidence
Sure.
in Halo 5.
But that was their own fault, though. There was a lot of hype for the anniversary,
It was their
and
own
they
fault,
messed
but
it up.
I mean, I witnessed that thing happen. I mean,
What do you mean you witnessed that thing happen?
it worked before launch.
Oh, okay.
The game worked.
Yeah.
Got you.
And then it launched, and then they had a huge mess on their hands that, like, it doesn't sound like they ever really figured it out.
They have not still completely figured it out.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it took a lot. I feel like it's been losing steam long before that. But, mostly losing steam by the people who made the most noise about it in the first place. When you kind of get fatigued on the franchise, but then, like, the other fans who've just been playing it because it's there, they're not making the same amount of noise that we used to when, like, people were camping out at midnight for releases, which you don't need to do anymore because your pre-installed thing unlocks at 9 p.m. the night before, or midnight if you're on the East Coast of America. Whenever it unlocks for you, you're ready to play it. Yeah, there's a lot less hype around, like, the events, and the events has always been, like, the thing for Halo. I mean, to me, I've never been, like, a huge fan of it, but I always appreciated the fanfare that was made around, like, this is a huge moment. We're on live broadcast TV. The people who are getting their first copies or whatever in New York and Times Square and these big events, they made a huge deal out of it, like a movie premiere or better. And that just doesn't really have the same tick anymore because everybody can live stream from their phones now. There's not really a bit of news that's, like, in the moment. Like, we've all prepared for this for a long time. It's like, oh yeah, this is happening right now. That's
It's
cool.
true. I mean,
Put my
video
phone
on
down.
the internet when Halo 2 came out even isn't that good.
Yeah.
You're basically basing your opinions off screenshots.
Yeah.
There's still that. There's still that when you play the game, this is the first time you see any of these things, and that's gone from video games today.
Yeah. The hype is very, like, in the moment and then gone. It burns out as opposed to fades away nowadays.
Yeah.
So I think that the times are betraying it a little bit as well. But at the same time, maybe they should have tried harder to find a way to adapt to it. But on the last hand, they don't need to because it's still selling a lot and they're going to make a lot of money and then go home laughing to the bank or whatever.
I was just going to say sort of your times thing sort of did it. Because as we were talking, I was thinking, like, and I got on all kinds of things, but, like, I was thinking about, like, the generation that grew up with video games is now buying video games with their own money.
Yeah.
And I think as a generation, speaking of millennials, which I think everyone in here is one.
We're all millennials.
We're all on the older side of it. But I think on the whole, like, we care more about, like, the promise of other, like, worthwhile things down the road. Like, that's why millennials famously quit jobs all the time, because it's like, yeah, sure, this is great. This isn't my project. Like, prove to me that we're doing something that's worthwhile or I'm going to leave. And, like, I wonder if one game is enough to be a system seller anymore. And, like, the Xbox, it's sold a lot of units, but it's not in the lead. And I don't know that one cool game is enough to drive more sales of it.
You know what I think Halo 5 needs? It's that Doc spider monster moment. Davis, I'll fill you in on this. We talked about a long time ago about what Back to the Future 3 would need. Sorry, 4. Back to the
man.
Future 4 would need.
I was like,
in the
I'm
trailer.
pretty sure Back to the Future 3 is perfect.
It exists. No. How
I
to get
love
people
Back to the
excited
Future
about
3.
How to get people excited
3
about
is amazing.
I
4.
love 3. Everyone hates it.
It's the trains. It's a down like you
Trains are the best.
But you get
also, dude,
really cool
I was-
future stuff in 2,
dude.
and then 3 is like all trains.
3 is
Yeah.
like a dope Western.
Yeah.
But the best is they are also. I watched 2 last night because
Uh-huh.
it was Back to the Future Day.
Yeah.
Doc is wearing a Trains and Cowboys shirt that entire movie. The entirety of 2, he's got a Trains and Cowboys shirt on.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
apparently it's planned as one movie, and then they split
No, yeah.
it. They did a whole
well,
Kill
it's
Bill.
so weird. I watched it on the Blu-ray, right? So
Yep.
it's the release of the movie.
Yeah.
The release of the movie to this day has the to be concluded, and then like a next time on. It doesn't have VO, but it shows clips of 3.
Yeah.
And then at the end it says, coming summer 1990, like in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm like, take that out of the tape. Of the Blu-ray.
No. People would be so mad if they took that out.
Oh yeah, but it's so
Um,
funny.
But anyway, all right,
Anyway.
so let's say you got to do Back to the Future 4. It's like, what do you do to get people excited? You have Doc, you have him right there, and then the camera pans out, and he's a spider monster, and then cut to black. So that's what Halo 5 needs.
But I think that's kind of what they're
Are we
doing.
and
arguing
Morty.
that, or is that
I
just
think-
a setup?
no,
Rick
that's
and
what
Morty.
you need. That's what you need to get someone
kinda
excited
did do
about
that.
what that game is. No, Halo
Yeah.
5 has nothing like
Yeah,
that.
the whole find the truth or whatever with Chief being the bad guy and like what's actually going on.
That puts me to sleep. Like, who cares?
yeah, it's
I
not
think
well done.
I think on TV spots that makes a whole lot of people care.
That was my
I gotta
biggest
disagree with
problem. I was very vocal. You might have heard me in the office screaming.
Yeah.
I love Master Chief, but he is a simple ass character. Very
I
simple.
missed the screaming. I missed it. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I was shouting when they first started the whole like find the truth. They haven't established enough of a character with his own motives to have him betray people. Like that's not who he is.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just does this. He says a couple words and whatever.
There's no intrigue. We don't assume that he did anything wrong.
The deepest
Right.
he gets is being
Yeah.
in love with Cortana.
Yeah.
Well, and so
That's
my,
about
my,
it.
my biggest problem and what I would like them to do, because I'm like, really the single player is what like really jazzes me about Halo.
Yeah.
Because Halo is like being alone in these giant, beautiful, like vistas and like sci-fi settings where it's just you. It's like kind of quiet sci-fi.
You and a whole squad of guys.
That's my problem is they're like, oh, here's all these characters now. We're trying to like overly humanize it and everything. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, for me, when it's just you, like it's like almost less of a story and more like a setting, like a place that you go through. Yeah, you're gonna fight awesome alien creatures, but you're also just gonna like look up and poop your pants at this like awesome giant ring that you're a tiny little thing on.
Love that view. Actually, yeah.
And so trying to make him like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Here's his squad. Here's their squad. No, shut up about that.
So you don't
go
even-
back to the roots.
And no rec packs.
What are rec packs?
Oh man, I've got to move on. But it's more booster packs.
Like
That you pay for?
microtransaction. Not my chief.
I
Not
don't,
cheap.
I don't think you can pay for rec packs. I'm not sure. Maybe you can, but basically, yeah, they're booster packs you earn, and then you get cards. You open up your booster packs, you get cards, and then you can. There's some that you can burn, and then there's some that you can't burn, and they're just to make the Warzone more fun. And it's just like Halo was fun without booster packs. It was fun without slamming the ground. It was fun without putting up little bubble shields.
I don't like cards in shooters. It's irritating.
Oh,
Yeah.
get used to it because it seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's
Everybody's
the next
doing
thing.
it. Is he still the same voice actor?
Still the same voice actor.
He's a Chicago radio personality.
really.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
Nice guy.
Yeah. And
He's
just-
like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I like doing Master Chief.
Ian, as we do our bets, could you please look up if you can buy rec packs?
Okay.
It's REQ.
no, I'm pretty sure you can actually.
Oh,
if I remember
really?
right from Ben's things. But,
Okay.
Um,
Oh God. Okay. Well, let's do bets. Why? What's with What comes after
oh no, the other thing I just want to make it very clear that like there is a massive Halo fan base that is looking forward to the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think
You're gonna get
mean-
flamed a lot.
No. I think we were mostly responding to
Bogey J.
Yeah, and I get where he's coming from because the original fan base seems like a lot. I've talked to, been around, and read the comments of a lot of the original fan base that are just like, whatever. I played Halo. I feel like there's not really going to be an end to it, so I don't have to play it. I don't need to play it.
But the old Halos were like almost like GTA. Were like they're like cultural. Like they go beyond just the hardcore. Like everybody else wanted to be part of this.
Yeah.
So they were swept up in it too.
Yeah, it's just harder to make a spectacle like that nowadays, in general.
Spider monster. That's what I'm saying. Just gotta make a spider monster. It's so simple to me.
That sounds like the worst thing.
I know. That's the joke.
Okay.
That's it's not real.
It's a bad joke.
No, but I think it's a theory. You know what I mean? It's like you need something that will shock someone. I'm not saying that the trailer should actually have a spider monster, but nothing about Halo 5 has shocked anyone. No one's like, oh, did Master Chief do something wrong? Is Locke gonna kill him? Like, nobody is thinking that.
No, but I'd love to see him run into a crowd of 500 people on a battlefield and start owning all of them, right? I'd love to see like a huge amount of like
I don't think that would have an
display of
impact.
power.
That would not have an impact on you.
I think it would. I would like it. I would like that a lot more than the cinematic intro we saw, where there's a bunch of guys running down a hill, like owning
Yeah.
everybody, which you cannot do in the game in any shape or
Right,
form.
yeah, just like killing them with swords and
then
hopping through- yeah.
this mimicked story of like they went down a checklist saying how did other people in other games and movies display growth of character which people are complaining about we don't have. Okay, throw them all in there somehow. That's what it feels like is happening right
That's
now.
why I like just because there's the cinematic intro and then the one where they're like sliding down the mountains.
Yeah.
And then there's like the blue team intro where it's Chief's team, and it's not like CG, but it's in-game engine. Have you seen that one?
I thought it is the Chiefs team sliding down the mountain.
No, that's Locke and Nathan Fillion and the other two people.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
they drop out of the ship and
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and they're, like,
Master
doing, like-
Chief starts off in a ship.
Yeah, they're doing like weird stuff, and then Master Chief, it's like quiet. They're just flying through, and then their big moment is like them jumping from space into a thing. They land and like they break through the window, and all the Covenant gets sucked out, and they don't even move. And I'm like, that's my Halo. That's my Halo. That's perfect. You don't need to have this weird like flashy like choreography and like it just doesn't. It's like you're trying so hard.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a statement of like, well, look, we have your old Halo in here too, but here's 343's Halo, which is very, I hate to say it, but I have to say it. It's very Michael Bay.
Ooh.
Old one?
No. 343 is Michael Bay, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's very like militarized and yeah.
Flashy, and grabby, and maybe that's the direction they think they need to go. I don't know.
Let's do bets. Our bet is about Halo 5.
I have an answer for your question.
Okay.
So playing Halo,
Yep.
and there's like weird things about like your rate can go up and blah blah blah, but like you get rec points for playing.
Yep.
But you can also buy silver and gold packs of rec cards or whatever for $1.99 and $2.99. Also, there's their Warzone rec bundle, which I assume comes. It's weird worded strangely, so I'm not entirely understanding it, but. I think it comes with something, but you get 2 premium packs each week for 7 weeks, blah, blah, blah. But you can also choose to purchase the bundle separately for $25.
That's some straight up Battlefield shit.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, I'm assuming this affects multiplayer only as well. There's no
It's only for
Just Warzone.
Warzone.
It's
Only
only
right.
Warzone, yeah.
Oh, Warzone, so it's not even all of the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for Warzone.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was guilty of buying a couple of Mass Effect card packs when I was playing Mass Effect multiplayer. You know, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Kept playing the game after I finished the main game, and I'm like, I'll ship you a couple bucks because you gave me a couple maps this week. Fine. Like, there's a balance there.
Maps are cool. If you like, that's a thing. That's a
It's a thing.
Yeah.
that you have it and it's real.
Well, and they said they're not going to charge for maps anymore for Halo 5.
I get that. I get it.
Well, Mass Effect added a couple of maps, I think.
I
after
get
the
that
fact. Maybe
people-
because they weren't done. I don't know.
People say the cards make the game more fun. To me, those cards are designed to generate money, and that's where I stand against them. Those cards, those rec packs.
But the thing is if you feel like you're getting your money's worth, then that is fine.
I guess so.
And if a ton of people feel like they're getting their money's worth, then it was worth doing. Period. If you don't feel like you would get your money's worth, you don't spend it.
Yep.
Nobody was hurt in this equation.
Halo is hurt. All right, so Halo 5 releases Tuesday, October 27th. As we've said actually, I'm sorry, we've gone on 1,000 asides in this episode. I want to do one more. Here was the weirdest
Hour
thing.
and 25 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
no, it's
love
not.
asides.
Okay, so Joel McHale was on the late night show. That's Seth Meyers. So I was just watching TV late, barely paying attention to it. Joel McHale was up, and I was watching this. And so he starts talking about Halo 5. And basically I'm like, wow, a lot of this interview is about Halo 5. He's just like, yeah, when Halo 5 comes out on October 27th, I'm going to abandon my kids. You know, he's doing Joel McHale style jokes. But that continues. Then at the end of the interview, Seth Meyers looks at the camera and says, Halo 5 is coming out Tuesday, October 27th. So I think like the whole thing was like Joel McHale was paid to go on Seth Meyers to talk about Halo 5.
Yep.
We're all nodding our heads like that's a normal
Is he
thing.
in it?
He's not in it.
No,
That's weird.
I believe it though.
Maybe they had another
on.
guest slated that was actually involved with it, but then bailed.
Hasn't he done E3 conferences for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for Ubisoft.
And he
Yeah.
shit all over the Game Awards.
Yeah, he did that as well.
What was it called? The
It was
The,
called VGX at the time.
VGX,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean that bothers me. What I like is, and I think all the like late night people do stuff except for Jimmy Kimmel, obviously, as we saw recently with his gamer debacle. But
Sure.
like,
Yep.
like Colbert,
Colbert stuff is good though.
Jimmy Fallon, like they have people on. I like it. Like if you're gonna do a whole Halo bit, play the damn game. Conan does it best. His like Clueless Gamer. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
They're
those are funny.
yeah, it's like him and his like one of his producers that actually plays games. They
Yeah.
go and they play a game. It's obviously they're getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like try to lie. Conan's very open that he sucks at it, and it's just
Yeah.
him making jokes, being terrible. And I'm like, that's if you're gonna do it, it's the most natural way.
Yeah, and I think that segment especially, I think that it's a segment they do whether they get paid for it or not. Like there are some that are sponsored and some that are not.
Do
That was-
you think Seth was making the joke? That
No.
it seemed like a promo?
It was very clearly not a joke. That was
Oh.
It really like it rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, whoa,
Weird.
what was this interview about?
It's weird when you're in a promo and you don't know you're in a promo.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say they had a guest prepared for that night that was actually involved with it.
That's a
And then they
pretty
just-
big limb, Matt Blair.
It was
that's
paid
pretty-
for. and then-
That's a massive limb
Hey.
you're going out on.
That's why I said I'm going out on a
How
limb.
much do they pay you?
Hey, wait.
Not enough.
While we're derailed,
Sure.
I had a Target ad on a YouTube video yet last night
Okay.
where I had to move my phone around and look all over this 360 room.
No way.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you were
And it
happy
was
to engage with the
seamless.
advertising.
Yeah, and I was like, man, maybe I don't want YouTube Red.
Look,
That's very funny.
I'll lift the veil a little bit of the old YouTube game.
Sure.
We get paid to do like integrations or
Yeah.
ads. Is like the dirty
Who
way
at
of saying
Defy
it.
is setting that up for you, by the way? I'm asking for a
We'll offline. We'll
That's
offline
good for
that.
a friend.
different friend.
No, but like, and so we, with the exception of some cases, try to make it as close to what we normally make,
Yeah.
so that it's fun for you. And then the ones that we don't, that like we've done like Hot Pockets, we did a Taco Bell thing. If you watch those, we went like we still did like over the top and fun. Like there's still some entertainment to be gleaned. We did like a 10-minute time travel epic about Taco Bell with Joven from Smosh Games. Like we traveled through time and changed history, like all this stuff. So, and that's like paid for, and we weren't. It's like pretty obviously. So when you just have someone come on and bullshit on late night,
Yeah.
like there's nothing entertaining. You're just selling. You didn't try. You can be obvious, but have it still be funny. I don't. There's no excuse to not still try to make it entertaining, even if it is something you're getting paid to do.
It was so weird.
It
It
still
was so
could have
weird.
been just a joke at the end. It still
Well,
could have been.
Some people are like just not good at it either. Like
Yeah.
we've had guests on GT Live that like the entire episode felt like an infomercial, and it was just. I mean, we didn't pay them obviously.
The thing is, Joel McHale has no apparent relation to Halo 5.
Right.
That is the weird part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's gonna leave his kids for it.
Yeah.
Starting October
And so,
27th.
so like, it was when it was. It was
It's
when
the
it,
date. The date is the weird part. When you
didn't-
say the date.
Yeah, I didn't remember this until I was writing the rundown, and so then to like really remember it, I googled Joel McHale Halo 5. Please do this at home. You'll find the headline: Joel McHale is going to abandon his kids for Halo 5 for the first 2 pages. So it's like weird. It like became a forced headline the next day.
But yeah,
It's
you're
so
saying there's,
strange.
there's nothing else there though. It's not like he
Yeah.
legitimately has a lot of like Halo 5.
To be slightly
It's so
fair, I
weird.
mean, the guy's job as host of the show is to grasp onto that date for every guest that he has on because there's a movie coming out, a
Right,
book coming
but
out,
when
an
it's
album
their
coming out.
thing to shill.
I know. But
If
you
I
know,
went on and just talked about fucking Gone with the Wind or something, and he was at the end, he was like, "Oh, you can buy the Gone with the Wind Blu-ray on
It'd be weird.
Amazon
It
right
would be
now."
weird. Yeah, it would be very weird.
Yeah.
But when you have
It would be
25,
hilarious if it was
when
that.
you have
Yeah.
25 guests a week where you just have a habit of doing that, I can understand if he just kind of grasped onto that date. It was like, this is
What are
funny.
we even talking about?
That's
I
a
don't
massive limb. Okay, so our bet is okay. So last week we talked about Twitch. What's going to be more popular on October 27th? Everyone said Overwatch, but me. I think Halo might be. I think Halo will be. Whatever. I'll own up to the bet. So I want to make a bet about just how popular Halo will be on Twitch at 7 p.m. October 27th Pacific time. How many viewers will Halo 5 have on Twitch? Is the bet this week? Are we all okay with that phrasing? Actual number of
Yes.
viewers. Okay. So who's going to bet first? It's going to be Bloodworth.
Wait, clarification request.
Sure.
If it's a show similar to GT Live where they're discussing but not playing, does that
I'll
count?
explain how we get this number. You just go to Twitch. They organize viewers by game, and there's just a number right beneath
Okay.
the
Ooh,
games
jeez.
box that says
Okay.
how many viewers are.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with 40,000.
40,000.
That's a very reserved number, I feel.
Why? What's yours, Matt Blair? Next to reveal.
136,000.
Love how you wrote that.
Thou saying.
Wow,
Hard to appreciate as a
Thou
listener.
sand.
I said 151,343 viewers.
I see what you did there.
Davis, you are
Oh,
last
I
to
get
reveal
it.
for
you
the
guys are
super
gonna be
sheet.
surprised
Okay,
because I went with a mere 20 stacks of High Society.
that is insulting. I gotta say that bet is
I like
insulting.
Davis.
So I'm probably gonna win.
I really hope
I got a
didn't-
pretty good chunk of this space between.
This is what I was talking about. Where like I wish it was those numbers.
Uh huh.
I'm using like a viewer of Twitch more and more.
Yeah.
I still don't know all of the ups and downs, but I think that it's going to be a number that's not going to be fun for people to look at. I think it's going to be smaller than everybody thinks.
That's because
Wow.
everyone's going to
Okay.
be watching that Overwatch, and after they stealth release No Man's Sky that day,
the
People
people,
are upset
the
too.
people,
They're gonna
that,
be playing
the people that
that.
care the most about it are going to be playing it. Because we talk about like
Yeah.
the core audience is still there.
Yeah.
They're going to have it then. I just don't think that this is going to...
I hope
Okay.
you're right, because I don't want to have won the bet for Jones. I just realized is what I might have done.
You've justified your bet. I appreciate that. Let me lock those in. Davis, as a person who's only listened to this as a podcast, what does that part mean to you when I lock it in and then you just hear a sound effect 1 second later? Is that?
Did you do that every time?
Yeah, we just
Every
crank it
time.
in. Yeah.
I thought it was like a metaphysical locking in of things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just thought it was sort of like a saying. I didn't know that there was like
An
thing
actual
to go-
contraption that we lock in the bets with? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Otherwise,
If you added like a sound effect, I'm not saying you
we
have
do.
to. But
Ian does a sound effect.
does he?
Yeah, let me. Yeah, there it is. I just locked it in again.
It sounds like he's just shifting his position in his seat. His left cheek is a little bit
I
tired,
thought it was
so
a good
he's just
sound.
switching over to
Should
the
we
other
make it louder? Let's do it louder this time.
you yelled at me that everything was too
I'm
loud.
really gonna
so I
lock this
turned
one
it
in. Here we go.
down. All right, well, hang on. I got to actually adjust things. It's going... All right, ready?
He's going to lose it.
Okay.
It was louder for the end user.
Do
Yeah.
you like a? You should sound like a celestial, like
It has like a
chain,
celestial
like
sound.
door,
Here,
like
I'll
we
turn
need
it
to
up for
like
you
locking
guys.
in, like you're like locking in this
Could you hear it better then?
this old god.
Ian, I don't like you playing it without me doing the motion. Here, I locked it in there too.
How many deadbolts do we have on this lock?
4. Now it's been locked in 4 times.
These bets are so locked
The
in.
bets are very safe. They will not be touched.
It's like
until
Sid's door from Toy Story. It's got all those, all
Nice.
those locks.
I
deep
could just play
reference.
this buzzer.
I do not like that. Oh, I hate that. Stop
Well,
it.
it's on loop.
Stop it.
Make it stop.
It sounds like you're buzzing somebody into the vault
Yeah.
where all these predictions are. Like,
Yeah, that's cool. We should do that when we open up bets.
Yeah, open up the
Yeah,
bets.
we
you're
get to
like-
walk into the
you
vault.
hit the intercom. You're like, it's Scott. Just wanna go check
Hello?
out the bets.
Yeah, can you let me up? Okay.
Come in.
Oh
Okay, we're off the rails.
This
Wheels
episode
have
is
come off.
brought to you by Halo 5, which comes out on
October 27th.
boy. Except
Okay.
it's not.
It's
What do you
brought to you
mean?
by Tostinos.
It's not brought to us.
Okay, Bloodworth is just being very clear that we are in
I thought
fact
you meant the release date was
brought
wrong.
to you
and
by
everybody's been wrong.
Tostinos.
This episode's sponsored by Defy Media.
Guitar Hero Live launches next week. Oh, this was last week's bet. Sorry, I got way ahead of myself. Last week we bet on the next random song that would pop up in Guitar Hero's new, basically MTV mode, where you just go and you just play random songs. The first full song we ran into was "Move, Shake, Hide" by Marmosets.
A
I don't even
winner.
know what that is.
Marmosets.
Household name Marmosets.
You've heard of Marmosets?
Marmosets are little like monkeys.
Marmosets. I don't
Marmosets.
know. Okay. No, there's a Z in here.
Oh.
A Z?
Yeah.
They probably yeah.
They
I mean,
put a Z in to
People
be
put Z's in
cool.
everything.
So
Yeah.
nobody's heard of
Put
them.
Z's and everything.
Okay.
I would have believed you until you really messed up the whole bear thing.
Yeah. You really goofed on that bear thing.
Yeah, marmosets are probably like squirrels
You
or
said pandas
something
were
now.
bears?
Who knows?
They're in the bear family. Just was.
So, actually,
Wait, he was right on that.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are bears.
What's happening right now?
Bloodworth said he was taught that they were never bears.
Oh, Bloodworth said they weren't bears?
He said it was ambiguous. He said nobody agrees.
He made,
When we
he
were-
made a pretty firm stance.
When
Yeah.
we were kids, there was some confusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we got it straight.
It seems
Pandas
like
are
there
bears.
still is confusion.
No, they're
Yeah.
bears.
Okay, good.
Okay, in the super seat, Huber bet that our first song would be 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Blood, you bet 3:35. Jones bet 3:10. I bet 332. No, I bet 3 minutes and 32 seconds. The actual length of the song is 3 minutes and 24 seconds. That is a win for Bossman. So, here's where we're. Davis is like, I got nothing out of this. What is this?
You said a bunch of numbers, and I'm trying to think about.
I know,
I'm
we gotta
trying to-
really represent that better.
I just trust that you.
It's fine. This episode's the longest
you went,
ever.
But you went over. See.
Going over does not matter.
It's not
we're not-
Price is
yes,
Right
okay.
rules.
Doesn't matter at all. I was 8 seconds off. So yeah, maybe we should do it like that. We should be like, Bloodworth was 10 seconds off and I was 8 seconds off. That might be a more fun reveal. We'll do that. Okay. Anyway, with that point, the super seat now has 13 points. Bloodworth has 14, one above. Jones has 6, 0 lightning bolts, and I now have 10 points.
That's right. He gave up his lightning.
It sounds like
Give
this
it
is
up.
really the super seat.
Which one?
If he's got 14.
No. Super seat's doing fine. Don't worry about it. You probably won today's bet. Anyway, what I win is the rights and responsibility to give everyone my Twitter name. I got to promote a video. I get the final word of the podcast, and also my trademark sign off. Ian, what's wrong?
Huh?
What's wrong? You made the strangest expression.
My eyes were dry, so I blinked them.
You gotta get some
So
eye
he
drops,
cried a little
brah.
bit.
Also, somebody needs to send me Davis's information so I can make his lower third later.
All right, well, what's your Twitter name? Joe, we'll do this
No,
for
no,
you
he
now.
can't do that.
Okay, you're right.
You
That is
didn't
against the
win.
rules. But usually when we have a guest in,
He's a guest. Come on.
we gotta be good to our guest.
Nah.
Davis, what's your Twitter name?
Warp Zone tweets.
Oh, it's not
Hang-
even your
hang
own
on.
individual
Say it
Twitter?
again.
Yeah, mine is Team Davis. Oh. Yeah, my personal one's Team
I
Davis, but
beeped
Warp
it.
Zone tweets for the Warp Zone.
I beat
Okay.
it.
It's funny that you're Warp Zone first. Good company guy, I guess.
We're team.
You're a slave.
How often do you write tweets for Warp Zone tweets?
A lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're bad. Sorry.
Oh, give it a follow then.
Give it a follow. My name is on Twitter is @KyleBossman. My final word is that, gosh, I don't know. Blair, we disagreed big time about microtransactions. Oh, yes. Here's my final word. Saying just don't buy it is not okay. No, we can't say just don't buy it and shrug our shoulders. I don't dig that. Love having the final word for that. The video I want to promote is Don's Design Lab. This video is so fun. This is Don designing a level in Super Mario Maker. He pulls in like 5 of us to play it. We play through the level. He makes changes based off what didn't work and what did work. And then that's just with a barrel full of laughs. Ian, you played the level this time.
Yeah,
So
It's
that goes
great.
up on Monday.
It goes up on Monday.
it does.
Yep, it's a Halloween-esque level too. Lots of
Nice.
spooky stuff going on. Yeah, Don's Design Lab, and you know what? Google it because there's one episode out already too. That's actually really fun as well. And then that is it. Oh, I just want to tell everyone that we are on iTunes. You can find us on iTunes and other podcasting services that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, we're a video and we're a podcast. Watch us, ingest us how you like. Davis listens to us.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
have
cool.
a lot of driving.
So you went to iTunes? You subscribed on iTunes?
I just whatever it like just says podcast on my iPhone.
Uh-huh.
So maybe it's through there. I'm slow
But
on phones.
no,
and
that's good.
social
Anyone
media.
listening, you can also just do that. Just find the word podcast on whatever phone you have and type in
I'll show
GT
you what I
time.
did.
Okay.
I open my. Oh, I can't
Oh,
show you
God.
my- I
Yeah,
can't show
no,
you
this
that.
camera right here.
Oh.
I can't show you that. What'd
That's
you
the
have?
camera.
What was on your phone?
His
Oh, I didn't want to
passcode.
show my passcode.
Oh, okay.
It just says podcast. There's like that, the little that, and then I
Who's
went.
this lady? Who's your wallpaper?
That's basically iTunes.
Oh, that's my girlfriend. She's a cosplayer.
Sick. All right. Cool.
You have a girlfriend?
It's about time.
Can I hit on her?
Whether or not I say so, you will.
Full circle. We have our out.
Everyone, tomorrow is forever all ours.